Now, as I got older, I recently received a lot of positive feedback about my musical talents. I picked up the guitar very quickly, and before I knew it, I was a proverbial child prodigy, whatever that means. Guitar riffs, though, and classical melodies seemed to emerge out of nowhere, and boy, could I shred. Thanks. Thank you. But as I got deeper and deeper into my music, though, the deeper and deeper I got into myself. I felt this overwhelming need to practice and get better in pursuit of the sounds I heard in my head, and this growing frustration that I cannot express them in the format that I wanted. I practiced and practiced until I began to isolate myself. Days would go by where I did not leave my room because I needed to practice, and days turned into weeks, turned into months, turned into years with very little human contact. I forgot to sleep, I forgot to eat, I forgot to take care of myself, all in pursuit of the sounds I heard in my head. This is not the way my once promising life as a musician was supposed to go. Now, clearly I wasn't in great shape, having succumbed to a difficult period of mental illness exacerbated by this all-consuming obsession with music. Eventually, though, thanks to my family, I decided to get some help, and after arriving at Oberlin for a semester, decided to take 2 years off and really reconnect with what first drew me to music. And it was at this time that I found myself in a new community of people who were able to connect with me in a way I'd never really known. I'd often sit with this community and play guitar for hours and hours, and I didn't have to speak, and oftentimes I didn't. They knew what the notes meant, and we shared in our common grief together. The music I came up with at this time stopped being about showing off technical ability. Rather, I learned the ability to tell a story with notes, but without words or gestures. True and pure music emerged for the first time out of this painful process, and I learned that the ability to tell a story that connects with another person is cathartic in its own right. Thanks to the people I met, I relearned how to sleep, how to rest, and how to take care of myself again. I felt profoundly indebted to them, and as a result, took on the long quest of writing a symphony for them out of gratitude. Now, I don't have much music or many memories from this time, but the day I left that community of people, a new theme emerged, which would define my symphony and my life forever. It was a theme of hope, a theme which had been a gift from this special community of people. This time, I was sure to write it down. Now, as I made my way back to Oberlin, it was back to square one. I felt at once intimidated and overwhelmed by the intensity of the musicianship there, that it was back to long days and long nights spent writing music by myself. By the time it was time to present the first draft of my symphony to my peers, I was again in very bad shape, and the music didn't seem much to my liking either. It was too ambitious, brash, grandiose, and just did not sound like me or what I wanted to express, and unfortunately, we're going to have to listen to it now. Not exactly what I was going for, but that's okay, that's okay. So back to square one, both personally and musically. This time, though, I had a blueprint of how to form a community around me, and I did. Through the process of rehearsal in particular, I was forced out of my shell and into a new community of people who sometimes cheered for my music and sometimes laughed at it, but overall, once again fell in love with the common themes that we wrote and loved together. Now that I had a new community at Oberlin that I knew was on my side and a community back home that I knew supported me, I began to interweave hidden melodies for the people I met through the piece. Each person I met received a secret theme that only they knew, and together I would interweave their themes into the overall storyboard format of, you guessed it, Lord of the Rings. Yes, yes. No, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. Lord of the Rings was a story that I loved growing up and brought back a familiar feeling of comfort. Each person I met was on their own journey, and together we formed an unlikely team, dare I say, a fellowship. This theme, for example, was written for my friend Alex. I met Alex soon after I left Oberlin for the first time, and we would often sit and listen to the impressionistic themes of Debussy, Ravel, Fauré, and Bill Evans. Alex would often struggle to describe the way this music made her feel, even on her loneliest nights, but I felt I knew exactly what she meant, as it had impacted me in much the same way. This theme, another example, was written for my friend Jedediah. Jeg was my first friend and was a huge advocate for my guitar playing, oftentimes dragging me to play guitar in front of people, even when I really didn't want to. Jed and I, being huge fans of the likes of Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, had to hear the legendary riffs of Stairway to Heaven and All Along the Watchtower within the piece. I knew the moment I met Jed that he would find his way back to his stairway, as would his epic themes of hope and of courage find their way into my symphony, and of course, his encouragement towards actually sharing my music with the world. And many more important themes would emerge from my friends at this time. So, as I neared the end of my time at Oberlin, I decided it was time to revisit the Lord of the Rings Symphony with the new knowledge and sense of confidence that now surrounded me. When I announced a final performance of the piece, I was pleasantly surprised to see dozens of emails in my inbox asking me to be part of it in some way. People even made posters in excitement for the piece. Now, on the final day of the performance, I had a huge audience in front of me ready to hear